Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today we continue on second part of topic 6, which is repetitions. So this is outcome for repetition. Okay, for making decision and repetition. Okay. So making decision we have learned previous topic. So for today we will continue on repetition. So under repetition we have three types for statement. Okay, the count statement, the while statement, and the for statement. Okay, loops or repetition. So loop statement used to execute a block of instruction again and again. So meaning that if you want to repeat the instruction many times, so you can use loop statement. Okay. So when we know how many times to be repeated and has a definite number of time, we refer as counter loop. Okay. So counter loop refer to something that we know how many times that we want to repeat. Okay. A loop also can be made up in indefinite number of times, so we refer as a sentinel loop. Okay, so if you don't have a specific number how many you want to repeat, so that statement we call a sentinel loop. Okay, usually we need a flag value, which is a sentinel value, to indicate the end of repetition. Okay, even though a sentinel loop don't have a specific number of repetition, but we still need a value here to end the repetition. Loop variable. Okay, so what is loop variable? So loop variable used to control the repetition. Okay. So we have three phases of controlling. Okay, first initialize the value. So we give the value how many times that we want to repeat. Okay, and then we test the value. Okay, true, it will repeat the statement, and then if the value is false, so it will exit the repetition. And lastly, update the value. So the value that we put in initialize, so it will be increment. So this is actually the flowchart for loop. Okay. So we start with the initialize the loop variable. Okay, we give a value for loop, and then we test the variable. Okay, so if the variable or the loop is true, so it will perform the next segment, and then we'll update the loop variable and then test again. Okay, until the loop variable is false. So when the loop variable is false, you will go to the other statement. Okay, so we look at some examples of counter loops and sentinel loops. Okay, so first is counter loop. Okay. So ask the user to enter 30 numbers, and then we count how many odd numbers. So here we already give the numbers, which is 30 numbers. Number 2, determine the highest mark in a class of 35 students. Okay, the value of student is 35. You find the average of n CGPA in the class. Okay, so we already have give the CGPA. And lastly, example, calculate the total salary of all staff in finance department. The number of staff will be entered by the user. So for this example, we also uh, give the value to the system. Okay, example of sentinel loops. Okay. So number 1, count how many odd number in group of numbers that end with 0. So we give some condition or the variable. Okay, so that the system will count. Okay. Number 2, determine the highest mark in the class. So the process will stop when the user enters an invalid mark. So invalid mark is actually the variable to make sure that it will end the repetition. Number 3, calculate the total salary of all staff in finance department. So the process ends when there is no more data to process. Okay, so for this example, the repetition will stop until there are more data. Okay, we start with the counter loop. Okay. When implementing counter loop, Okay, following three statements must be available. Okay, first we must initialize the counter with the whole number. Okay, so we give a variable with the whole number, and then we test get a value. Okay, the counter is less or equal to n. Okay, and then we update the value by increasing the counter by 1. Okay. So n here is actually represent the number of repetitions. So how many times that we need to repeat, okay, based on the value that we already initialize. Okay, so this is an example. Okay, the flowchart and also the code. Okay, so start with count equal to 0. Okay, loop count less than 4, print hello, count equal to count plus 1. Okay, and then this is the flowchart. So based on this flowchart and the code, okay, it shows that we already give the variable as a count, and then the number that we set for count is must less than 4. Okay, so the loop will repeat, which is will print hello, okay, until get the count number or the value is larger than 4. Okay, so you can see in this flowchart. Okay, num count is equal to 0. So count less than 4. Okay, so because the first initial value is 0, so 0 is less than 4. Yes, so it will go to print hello. Okay, and then the count will increment 1. So meaning that the new number for count now is equal to 1. Okay, and then because 1 is less than 4, so it will repeat again. Okay, so this process will be stopped until your count is larger than 4. Okay, next is sentinel loop. So when implementing sentinel loop, okay, the following three statements must be available. Okay, first, we must initialize the loop to any value, okay, based on the variable type. Okay, we test the loop based on the sentinel value, and we update, okay, the value, okay, to make the condition is false. Okay, so this is the three statement. Okay, this is the example. Okay, so we assume we have coding, okay, from previous. Okay, so if you refer to this flowchart, okay, so get response, okay, loop, yeah, response equal to y. Okay, we print bank balance. Okay, bank balance is easily equal to bank bell, okay, plus with bank bell times with the interest rate. Okay, and then print, do you want to see the New Year's balance? Yes or no? And then get the response. Okay, until the response that given from the user is not equal to y, so the repetition, okay, will be stopped. Okay, so but if the response is equal to y or yes, so it will repeat, okay, the statement. Okay, so you can see in this flowchart, okay, response equal to y, yes, so it will perform this statement. Okay, so you will get response and then again. So based on this example, it shows that this loop is actually not specify, okay, how many times that we need to repeat. Okay, that mean by sentinel loop. Okay, so based on these two example, okay, you need to identify the loop variable for each loop type. Okay, so I want you to think, okay, and then figure out, okay, for this question, okay, what is the type of variable, okay, for counter loop, example of this counter loop and example of this sentinel loop. Loop repetition in Alice tree have three blocks. Okay, count, while, and for each in. So this is the block, okay, that we can use in Alice tree to perform the repetition. So count, okay? Count block is suitable to use with the counter loop. So if we know how many times we want to repeat, so we can use count block. Okay. While block is suitable to use with the sentinel loop. Okay. If we don't specify the value how many times that we need to repeat, so you can use while. For each in is suitable to use with array item. Okay, so for each in use for array. Count, okay, count statement, okay, allowing to select the number of times that the loop should repeat. Okay. Instead of creating multiple copies of the same instruction, this statement will be repeated based on the given counted time. So example for this one, we want to make this bunny jumps up and down for 5 times. Okay, if we don't use the loop, yeah, so we need to repeat the same code, okay, 5 times. Yeah, so this is the original codes. So we can change, okay, this code to simple code, okay, another simple code, okay, by using the loop, okay, counter loop. Okay, so we can use count block, okay, we can reduce the code. So this is one of the objective why, okay, we can use loop. So we will use the count block, okay, we put 5, meaning that these two segments will be repeated 5 times. Okay, and then if the repetition, okay, or if the condition is false, so you will go to the next statement. While, okay, so while you don't need to specify the number of times that it should repeat. Okay, so it needs to provide boolean condition, and while instructions repeats as long as the boolean condition is true. Okay, because of this loop controlled by condition, it is commonly called a sentinel loop. Okay, so when the type of loop is conditioned uh, by a controlled by a condition, so that one we call a sentinel loop. Okay, so this is another example in Alice tree. Okay, so we put a block of while. Yeah, so the distance bunny hole is larger than equal to 0.25. Yeah, so until the hole is larger than smaller than 0.25, so it will stop, okay, the repetition. So I will show you the demo for this topic. For each in, okay, use for array, okay, to repeat a statement. So it will base the repeat based on the number of elements in the array. So what is array? Okay. So array is series of lists of variable in computer memory. So array is actually the location inside your memory. Okay, so they have the same data and then data type, but differentiate with a special number that called subscript. So subscript also called index, okay, number that indicates the position of particular item within an array. Okay, so you can refer to this diagram. Okay, so we have 5 locations. Yeah, so this is the array index. Yeah, and then this is the value. Okay, so we have 5 elements. Okay, the first statement is the zeros element. Okay, the first segment is 0 element. Okay, if you declare an of array elements, the last one is number, okay, n minus 1. Okay, so that if we want to if we want to declare an array of n elements. Yeah? So the last number must less than the element. Okay, so if you try to access element in number, it is an arrow. So example, if your n is 5, okay, so the last number, okay, must equal to 4. So example, for this array, okay, you have 5 array. Okay, we start with value 0, okay, until the last one is number 4. Okay, so this is another example, the repetition in Alice 3, okay, by using array. Yeah, so I will show you later about this. Okay, for each in. Okay, for each in instruction is actually similar to the count instructions. Okay, which is the counter loop. Okay, so which is the counter loop, nested loop. Okay. Program logic gets more complicated when you must use loop within loops, or we call a nested loop. Okay, when one loop appears inside another, so the loop that contains the other loop is called outer loop, and the loop that contains in is called the inner loop. So you need to create a nested loop when the value of two or more variables repeat to produce every combination of value. Yeah. So you have uh, another loops, okay, inside loop. Okay, that mean by nested loop. Yeah. So this is the flowchart, okay, for the nested loop. Yeah, of course we need to initialize the value for outer loop. Okay, so this is the condition, meaning that we test the condition for the outer loop. Okay, if the condition is true, so you will move to the next statement, and then inside this outer loop we have an inner loop. So we need to give an initial value for the inner loop, and then we test the condition for inner loop, and if the condition is true, so you will go to the statement. Okay, if false, okay, you will out of the statement. So this is a variation of nested loop. Okay, for example, for count, okay, so count is outer loop. Okay, inside count, which is inner loop, also we use count. Okay, for this example, the outer loops is we are using the while, and then inner loop we use count. Okay, or both. Okay, block we use while statement. Okay, or for this one, outer loops we are using the count statement, but inner loop we use a while statement. So this is the example, okay, how we can use, okay, the nested loop. Infinite loop. So what is infinite? So infinite loop is a non-stop loop. So it will repeat itself repeatedly with no end. Yeah. So test yourself. Okay, why the loop is never stopped? Okay, so you refer to this question. Why? Yeah. I want you to test yourself. Yeah. For these questions. Right. So that's all for topic repetition in topic 6. Okay. So I hope you can get the concept of repetition. Okay, which is we have 3 types of repetition block that we have. Okay, the first one is count. Okay, second is while, and the last one is for each in. That one is actually for Alice tree. And then based on these 3, is actually we can group into 2 types of loop. Okay, we have counter loop and we have sentinel loop. Okay, so counter loop, we specify, okay, the number that, or the times, okay, how many times that the statement will be repeat. Okay, but for sentinel loop we don't have a specific number for the repetition process. Okay, but we still need to have the condition, okay, to make sure that repetition will be end. Yeah.